So this is the Praise the Sun / Praise the Gun build. We are a fully fledged knight. Please ignore this mask that we have on instead of a helmet. They also had scrap hatches back in the day for knights 100% of the time. They also wore backpacks, especially Jan Sports, and they had pants and guns. It's a knight build. All right, so let's go and hop into this. It is a variation of the crit beam rifle build that was pretty popular before the how do you call it, complete nerf. It was pretty popular before that. This variation is an elemental one, and it does a pretty good amount of damage. So what you want to go ahead and do is have the beam rifle with wildfire shot. When you're fighting against enemies that are not resistant to, that are resistant to fire, you want to go ahead and use something different, of course. And so you want to, So you want to use, in my case, I use Iron Sentinel. Works out pretty well to keep that DPS up. You can use something different. This doesn't keep up that well, not in Nightmare at least. Yeah, I just use Iron Sentinel. So this is the Praise the Gun variation of it. You just swap out this. So you use I use the Magnum. You can use whatever second hand that you want. I think the Magnum is probably one of the better ones. And then you rock the Swarm. The Swarm works out really well because it boosts up the crit rate that you have inside of the Radiant set, as well as it has the elemental aspect to it. So that gets boosted up as well at 12.5 scales. And you're able to spam it pretty decently. We keep the scrap hatchet at 1, so that way we can abuse the level scaling inside this game, because we aren't going to use melee anyway. So we have the 2 Radiant pieces right here. We don't rock full Radiant because I don't like heavy, and that's basically what that comes down to. So heavy rolling just feels bad, and the stamina drain, it's like, it kind of feels bad as well. Bandit. Everything just seems way smoother. And I feel like the extra mobility is needed for Nightmare difficulty, at least for me. If you can play without it, you can go ahead and do your thing. Do it big. Alright, so we're rocking that. And the reason why we don't run Letos with full Radiant is because the Storm Amulet ends up doing more damage than the full Radiant. I did the math for you guys real quick, so that way you guys can see that. I went ahead and showed my work. Let me bring that over real quick. There you go. Hopefully this like explains everything. It's like more clear. Alright, and so now we get to the Devouring Loop segment. I actually did the math. I got you guys. Here we go. Boom. We got this. So Storm Amulet. This is within 10 shots. And then we have the without the Storm Amulet, and we have the Radiant. One thing to keep in mind is that Devouring Loop within 10 shots has a like 24% chance of proccing. We're just doing the Devouring Loop proc in case it does happen, because it's going to be one of your best in slots still for damage, if not the best in slot for damage, because of the way Swarm works. But yeah, here are the shots with Storm, and we have 5 crits, including the Devouring Loop proc, because it's 55% crit chance. And then we have a 65% crit chance for the Radiant. So on average, within the 10 shots, it's 890 versus 817. So it'd be doing 10% more damage, about 10% more damage, which is a decent amount. Is it 10%? It's about 10%. All right, maybe 8 or something like that. But you're gonna be doing more damage, and then that's not even accounting for the wildfire shot fireballs that you're gonna be applying. So you can shoot this out, and it can stack up to 5 times. You have to wait for you have to wait for a dot to fall off for you to reapply that. It does not refresh by you spamming the fireballs, and you can get, it will pop up with like 6 status effects, because 5 of them are the dots, and then 1 of them is the person being on top of the fire. Does slightly less damage. Does way less damage actually. Them being on fire, but it's additional damage. And then the dot is of course increased by the Storm Amulet, as well as some other different damage increasing things that you can utilize. It does not crit though. That's basically that. Devouring Loop doesn't slot for the damage that you have right now in most of the cases. Braided Thorns give you that extra percent crit, gets you that extra percentage of critting. Yeah, works. And then sometimes I like running the Heart of the Wolf. This gives you a little bit more mobility. Nothing else is really that great for this build setup, unfortunately. I'm probably missing a few rings. When I looked it up, there wasn't anything that really would do much more for the build setup. But that's basically it in terms of the items that you want to use. I'll go over like the core traits. Core traits that you want for this build: to be able to spam fireballs, really you want Spirit. Quick hands, you want that because the B rifle had its reload nerfed. And you see how long that is, even with 30% on quick hands. It's not terrible because you have Swarm, you have fireballs to like buy you that time where you don't need to reload. So it's okay. So I'd say essential, you want Spirit, quick hands, and what else is super essential to this build? It is going to be maybe trigger happy. Will be like kind of like the core things that you want. Well, not even trigger happy, but basically these are going to be core to this build and making it like feel all right, making it feel good. And then some other things that you're going to want to expedite the rate of fire in the build and make it better. I'm literally combining random words together. To make the build better, you want, of course, Vigor, damage reduction from Mother's Blessing, Bark Skin, which works really well because it's a more bulky set. So 477 is a lot of armor. You're able to eat a lot of hard hits. You want that. This is going to be your best in slot for stamina regen, or stamina in general, because of stamina being a infinite, an infinite stat rather than health. You want to go ahead and go into this. This does nothing at all. This is good. This is also good. This does nothing at all for the build. This is good. This does nothing for the build. You can max out this also if you want to, maybe towards the end. But most of the time, I don't get hit with melee hits, so you can play around with that if you want to. Exploiter, which I might have went over, might have passed over, does not do too much for you in a good amount of instances. Probably be one of the later things that you boost up. It works out though against some bosses, and you're able to apply it better than you would. You're able to apply weak spot damage better in these cases than you would with some of the other weapons. Swiftness helps this build feel better. I like that. Mind's Eye, of course, for the extra damage, and then of course Trigger Happy because this is a rate of fire type build. But yeah, that's overall the main parts of the build. What else? Oh yeah, like location of all this stuff and all the core stuff and where to get that are going to be in the description below to make the build work. This is a nightmare build, works out pretty well against the fire resistant enemies. I did mention this earlier already, but I'm repeating it for no reason. You do the Iron Sentinel. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below. I'll see what I can do to help out. And that's basically it. Peace out, dudes.